Okay. So speaking of health checks, so about 6 months ago or so, I went to the doctor. So about 3 or 4 years before that, I went to the doctor for like my yearly thing for the first time in I don't know how long. My doctor's like, "Oh, you're super healthy. You don't even need to do this yearly. Just come in if you're not feeling well." But eventually, I'm like, okay, I need to go in for an actual physical. We talked about some stuff like my super excessive drinking at the time and some other stuff, and then they ran the labs, and I'm like, okay, good. I went back home, poured myself a drink like I always do. Everything was fine. And then like 2 days later, I see the lab results, and I'm like, oh, those aren't great. Right, like my cholesterol was super high, but then there was this other one, and I had to like look it up. It was another one that was like in red. I had to look it up, and it was basically like, "Hey, this number is gonna be bad if you drink way too much." Shit. So I finished off that bottle and I put it down.
This is bad news. Look.
So like that was step one, right? And then I've cut out some other vices along the way. And then back a few months ago, end of January, early February, I started going to the gym because they opened up a new gym near me.
Wow.
And so I'm going to the gym, I'm doing my thing. And then I realized that you don't actually get in better shape when you don't actually lose weight just going to the gym. You also have to stop eating garbage all the time.
Yeah.
So I started doing the one thing that I had.
Dave just goes,
Yeah, Dave, this does not work out for your network.
No, it doesn't.
But I started doing the one thing that literally a week before I had just ranted about how much I hated, and that's counting calories. I hate it. But, there's free apps and all that stuff for it. So I started doing that. I've lost, as of this morning when I weighed myself randomly, I lost like 16 pounds.
Hell yeah.
But also like grown muscles. Like I can like flex in a way and actually like find definition in my chest for the first time in maybe my entire life.
We should just
Let's all
cancel
do that.
this
Hold
show
on.
and start a workout podcast. We'll
back
just
to
talk
that,
about
Johnny.
how.
Yeah. Look, that is moobs you're feeling there. Moobs. Don't worry. I also felt moobs. And actually, here's the weirdest thing is I used to look at myself in the mirror every once in a while. Not often. I'm not someone who cares about what I look like, and also looking at myself was not a turn on to anybody. But I used to look at myself in the mirror and like I'd look at my chest and I'd like turn sideways and like I'd flip it a little bit, like my flabby chest. And all I could think about is it reminded me of my grandfather with his shirt off when I was younger. And I'm like, oh my God, I have really old man, flabby man boobs. But yeah, so I started losing weight. I go to the gym probably way too much because I just enjoy it now. But like, I feel good, man.
I had that a couple years ago. Like, I really made an effort to get healthy. I don't know what happened, but I just stopped.
Honestly, you have to have the right motivation. And look, let's be honest, right? You're a what I hope is a happily married man. You've got kids. You have all these things. If your spouse is not having a problem or giving you motivation to get healthier, which is fine, like it's almost the way it should be. But if you don't have that, then why bother? Like, let's be honest here. Why bother?
Only put forth effort if it's necessary. How are your boobs, Dave?
This conversation's hurting a little bit because I'm just like, I eat a lot of snacks for this thing, and I am experiencing the consequences of those decisions.
All for the content, baby.
And in turn, I'm realizing that in my early 30s, I need to make an effort now, or I'm gonna regret it later.
If you take, when you take a shit, is it just like caked in Cheeto dust?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's an under exaggeration.
My God.
Are those full M&Ms? What the hell?
Oh, melt in your mouth, not in your ass.
Now I'm realizing, but every time I start making a really good effort, something bad happens.
Yeah.
I've learned, like, I don't know. I get injured or something in a horrible way that prevents me from keeping going, and then I stop. I just go.
No, you have to have the right motivation, right? Like,
yeah.
So what?
The motivation ends, when my
Exactly.
leg gets hurt so bad that I can't walk anymore, or I can't get on the exercise bike. And so then I relax for like a month, and now I'm out of the motivation. I'm out of the routine. And I just can't get back into it. And every time I start, I'm good for like 2 or 3 months. I'm like making a good effort, and then something bad happens. And that's happened to me like 3 times now. And I'm like, that's probably a sign. Just don't be healthy. It's a great idea.
Well, no, it is. It honestly, look, if you don't have a reason to be, don't be. I have to do it for my kids because they need me. But like, I also have to tell myself, and I don't want to get obsessed with this. And that's like the hardest part, is once you start doing certain things, you become obsessed with it. And I don't want that. And I use the app and I count the calories and all that stuff, because otherwise I will like just go crazy on some things. But like, I went to a game night with some people, and it was just like appetizer type food that we were all munching on. And I had to just set my phone almost in the other room to make sure I wasn't like, well, one small taco, click. One cheese stick, click. Oh no, I'm coming up to my line.
Hey, can you send me that app?
It's just my FitnessPal. I'll
send me your phone.
Yeah, I'll send you.
I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Welcome to None of Us Are Qualified, Bad Advice Podcast, where each episode we take a question from you, our community, and give you horribly misguided advice while I do cool things with my hands. You have a question that you'd like our... Look at Johnny's just like, what the... That damn asshole's doing things with his hands again. If you have a question that you'd like our advice on, you can reach out to us on Threads at None of Us Are Qualified, or email us at noneofusarqualified@gmail.com. Maybe.
We think.
Possibly. Verdict's not in yet. All right. Today's topic, am I overreacting to being interrupted? This one I feel very strongly about. So I'm going to read this. I have very hot feelings on this. I need some... Oh, sorry. I was going to do that every episode. I need some strategies to deal with adults who interrupt me. Why I feel that this might be a me problem is that I've heard from multiple sources about something called collaborative overlapping, where some people are used to interrupting each other, and I honestly don't know if I'm savvy enough to distinguish collaborative overlapping from people who are just being rude and thoughtless. Where is the line? Is it ever appropriate to gently let adults know that you weren't done talking? I have very strong thoughts on this, so I feel like I should not go first.
I have a couple. We have a couple things to clarify here.
Uh-huh.
One, why are we referring to them as adults? Right?
Isn't there more to the thing where it talks about like adult customers somewhere at the end of that?
I took the customers. This was a whole long thing about how this person works with customers in customer service. So like they deal with people through their job.
Okay, so number one, they are an adult. So stop referring to other people as adults. That's the first. The only thing that makes you an adult is saying you are. That's actually kind of the truth. I hate to break it to you. You will never grow up. That's life. You will always be a child as long as you think you are, and that's kind of okay. Number two, we're the worst people to give you this advice. Like, whatever. This podcast and podcasting for over a decade now has trained me, especially with John on this call, that we have to interrupt each other. Otherwise, we don't have a damn show. Also, stop using some weird corporate bullshit. Collaborative overlapping.
Yeah.
What? Ooh, done with that. Throw that. We're not going to circle back to that today. I hope this email finds you well. I swear to God, stop it.
Okay, hold on a second. So first of all, yes, the collaborative overlapping sounds like some new age bullshit term for.
So bad.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, well, I didn't interrupt you. I collaboratively spoke at the same time as you spoke there. No, fuck you. That's stupid, right? God, stop. But yeah. So as Dave pointed out, in podcasting, and as everyone has heard, if any of these episodes, we overspeak each other, but we try to do it. I think we try not to do it, but we also, I think there's times it just has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually trying to like go through and do. Yeah, see, there you go. And once again, like as I was speaking, you were also speaking, but it worked and it needed to be done in this setting. Now, Now,
Except, see, the problem is this is translated to the way I talk to people. It's gotten me in situations where the people weren't prepared for. It trains you to be, for lack of a better way to say this, but like to be quippy. Like you gotta be just. There's a way of being on and ready to like respond that people. When you're growing up as a kid, you're told to like think before you talk, and this teaches you the opposite because otherwise you don't have a really funny podcast to listen to.
Well, and
So
still
you're saying-
don't, but
So, Dave, you're saying that because of your time doing stuff like this, it's informed your conversations outside of the world of podcast. You podcast in person, basically.
It's dangerous. It's actually, remember how you can fall in love with somebody on a screen? The reality is like
Doing it right now, baby.
We're not really us, but like we are. And I have, in the right scenario, like when I start talking, I'm talking like I'm on a podcast. I'm no longer talking like I'm talking to a person who's never had a microphone in front of their mouth in their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And the one time they did, they were scared and shaking in their boots, imagining everybody in their underwear, versus I'm like, how can I respond quickly and funny, or like in a way that if you were listening to this conversation, it would be entertaining to listen to. And that's my thought process basically all the time. And it's not good because you say things to people that you shouldn't say things to. Like
Dave's at church recommending special kind of peeps and peanuts.
oh, I really thought you were going a different direction with that.
I don't go to church.
So okay. So hold on. Let's address the adult side of this that Dave pointed out. First of all, when I read the question as you sent it to us, and I saw like adult customers, I went to the adult industry right away. That this is some sex worker who keeps getting interrupted by her John, right?
About collaborative overlapping.
I just got interrupted by my John.
But you know, she's trying to moan at the right time, and he's trying to say something, and she's just like, "Stop it!
Oh, yeah,
We're not collaborative overlapping here." That's where my mind went. It's obviously not the truth, I think.
That's a different kind of overlapping, John.
Oh, it's interlapping.
Interlinking.
But Dave, you know, you made the comment about how like adults is just a word, and we don't actually grow up, and I have to argue against that because I've learned some things, right?
Are you gonna play the "I had kids" card right now?
No. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to my what's bingo card of did John mention divorce? Well,
shit.
You can just state that one. But like,
We're such a fun show.
You learn though that like there are people who do not emotionally or maturely grow up and do not learn certain things, right? So as a kid, there's things that you can do, and you know that they can do that because they are still learning. But as an adult, by that point, you should have learned not to do these things and how to handle them properly. So there is a difference between adults and kids.
That's not true.
We'll talk about this one offline.
Just because they were supposed to learn how to react and be responsible and be air quotes adults, right? Like this isn't a thing that everybody learns, and which is why I say being an adult is an illusion. It's not a real thing. Like I interact with people who are much older than me all the time. Are they widely less mature? Yes. In the worst ways, and it doesn't make them any more qualified than I am. This idea that you need to respect your elders is such a bullshitty backwards kind of shit that no one should believe. You are in your own position. There is its own hierarchy. There's people you can and can't say things to, as I've learned. And the reality is adulthood is made up. Just because this person is older than you doesn't make them more qualified, mature, wise, whatever you want to put in this position. you may have learned things they haven't. You may be more mature than they have, and vice versa. They may be they are older. They actually do know more, and they are wiser sometimes. But that rule does not always apply, and the illusion that it does is bullshit.
I think what you're trying to say is that there's a distinction between being an adult and being mature or informed, right?
There is. But Adam, I want to hear. So you seem like you had like a lot to say on this actual topic, and then I think I have a conclusive line at the end of it.
But he didn't want to interrupt anybody.
Yes,
I was being very mature. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up.
This is a collaborative interruption. What is stupid?
Collaborative overlapping. Yeah, I just, to me, there is nothing more aggravating than somebody who has to be the voice in the room, right? We talk about how we kind of, stumble across each other. Somebody's talking, and you kind of bump into each other, but then you've got the respect and the restraint to know, okay, I'm going to back up, let them finish their thought, whatever. But there are certain people, and I work with one, there are certain people who just have to fucking stick their neck out and talk over people to assert authority, or because they think they're top shit or whatever it is, and just like railroad people. And I think that's the kind of interruption that drives me crazy. There's just natural interruption in the flow of conversation where like there's awkward pauses and then two people try to start up or whatever. But then there are people who cannot help but just like try to take over a conversation. And those people fucking drive me nuts. And I don't think you should gently let people know that you weren't done talking. I think you need to shut those fuckers down.
Especially when they're wrong. Especially
if they're wrong, yeah. But people like that just like they will not stop until you put them in their place.
So here's my only thing in this for this specific person here is that she's talking about as you said, I say she. I don't know why I'm picturing this being a woman. Maybe it's not. I'm sorry, ma'am.
And or sir.
No, they're all ma'ams. But we're talking about customer service, right? When you work in customer service, you are going to deal with the assholes of all assholes, right? Like the most asshole people out there. But guess what? At the end of the day, you put your computer away, you put your phone down, you go home, and you have a paycheck. So how about you be happy you have a job, you shut the fuck up, you let them say whatever they want to say, and you just enjoy your paycheck? How about that?
Oh, wow.
You got hot takes everywhere on this
holy
one.
Shit. I agree to an extent, is you get to go home and let it go. At the same time as there is a level of where you can cross the line of respect.
Sure, but look, that person's job, when you work customer service, your job is to get shit on. And when you accepted that job, whether you realized it at the time or not, you accepted the job to get shit on. You are getting paid to be a human toilet. And if you're lucky, you got a water gun so that you're a human bidet at the same time. But outside of that,
This is exactly why I got out of customer service. Yeah.
Yeah, like your job is to have a giant dump on your face every day for work.
And you need to be paid more for that, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That is a whole nother story. And also, this advice of just accepting the dump on your face works if we're talking about customer service or the adult industry.
You would be surprised where people leave dumps. That's all I'm going to say.
Jeez.
They're not all on people's faces.
Let's take a break for a plug. Johnny, I'm interested to hear what you're going to...
I was
just talking about taking a dump on somebody's face, and now I want to ask him what he wants to plug.
Well, I mean, I've taken that plug out, so we're good there. But, yeah, I thought about this myself. Of what would I plug? And here's the thing: is I'm actively working on making a bunch of changes in my life, not just getting healthier, like we talked about earlier. And so I want to start recording something again. I want to start recording random things that I send to Mega Dads that they may or may not use. Who knows? But I don't know what those are going to be. And my consistency level is, as Adam knows, not available to be fully consistent. But I plan on getting in front of the mic more. I plan on talking about some stuff. It could be funny. It could be an attempt to be funny that's not funny, or it could just be a serious conversation. But But I guess we'll see in time.
Just send me a bunch of like YouTube shorts of you flicking your man boob. I'll put them up.
Yeah.
On my TV. I won't put them on the internet. I'll watch.
Okay,
That's just
perfect,
for me.
Perfect.
Just for me. Now it's time for the conclusion where we take that nuclear reaction of how do I stop overreacting to being interrupted, and we try to help this person with a definitive answer to their problem. Dave, I'm going to throw it to you to summarize.
The best advice here is just shut the fuck up. It's
I won him over.
No. I've learned that keeping my mouth there's a time to keep your mouth shut, and there's a time to put people in their place. And most of the time, it's easier to walk away and keep your mouth shut. Especially keep your mouth shut when you're getting shit on your face. But at the same time, if they shove your mouth open, you might need to like do something about it.
Keep your mouth
And that's
shut.
why I wear a dental dam at all times.
They shove your mouth open. You might need to do something. Hold on. Let me walk through that one more time.
Hold on a second. So in our last episode, we came up with a saying that ended up needing to be on a towel for the best place for it. So where does this saying go? Is it like a roll of toilet paper, and like as you pull it out, it has this written down it?
It's a new toilet paper brand called Shit on This.
No, you don't shit on the toilet paper, Dave. I think you're doing it wrong. This is why we can't record this show when I have my kids with me.
Wouldn't that be great if Dave like went through that whole process just backwards? Like he shits on the toilet paper and then he washes his ass in the bowl.
I mean, it's not that far off from how a bidet works.
Yeah.
For an example of when to keep your mouth shut, just let them have it and no one will care.
I don't think we helped. I don't.
Do we ever?
No, I don't think so. I think this time we very much did not help, but that's okay because that's the point of the show. And thanks for watching it or listening to it. This has been None of Us Are Qualified. Join us next week when we discuss what to do when your husband is texting other women in secret.
John knows all about this.
God.
Join us next week when Johnny cries on camera. Have a great week. Johnny, you have something to look forward to next time. You excited? Wait, is this letter from Johnny? See you next time. Bye.